We go. So welcome to Moving the Mountains initiative, an invitation to create a whole new movement, something that I think all of us have been looking forward to being a part of, hoping to be a part of, have been a part of for a long time. Like we've been prepared for something, and each step along the path of our journey, we've been prepared for what's there for sure, and what's there and what's there. But we find ourselves, I think, in our world, even beyond our lives, but in our world, in huge disarray. Nice word. So we come together in the sacred space of sovereignty. And this space was first called into being in 2012. Janelle, you were there.
Yeah.
Gathered in Seattle, and we laid down the foundation for what it was women required be part of culture, policies, family, home, the world. And that remains true today. And then Sacred Ground Collective, in probably about 5 years ago now, came together because I was ready to do my work and I wanted a place to anchor it. So we brought that values of women from the Women's Grassroots Congress forward. And I said, this is the community. And that's when Sacred Ground Collective then was birthed, shoulder upon shoulder. And so we are here in that ground of sovereignty, created from that point, before that really by individuals. We are standing on shoulders of a community coming together. And the values that community, just recently, maybe 4 months ago, I said, I want you to put into one of our circles the qualities that you feel you have experience in the circle. Qualities we want. What are the qualities you feel from being here? So I'm going to read those to you. Integrity, truth, trust, heart-centered sharing, non-judgment, compassion, loving kindness, connection, generosity, mutual respect, deep listening, support, caring about each other, sisterhood, acceptance, and wisdom.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Very nice.
We are in, that's the culture that we have here, rooted into Gaia. Sisterhood is always been intended to root within Gaia, and those roots holding the entire forest, plant kingdom of women as they do their work. We are also coming, knowing that we have connections into the divine, whatever name you give it, into the unseen worlds, wherever you go, that has integrity to these qualities and the qualities you set for your life. We are not walking this path alone. That's also part of our community. So we are here with the boundaries set. We are cocooned in what we call the sixfold field of guidance, protection, the infusion of resources and joy and good, being held solidly as we each do what we are called to do. So with that, our circle is set, and we are here together. For you don't know that, but you're up to the task. So it's courage and curiosity. That's so I'm going to just have you introduce yourself, name where you are on the planet. We'll talk a little bit more about, you later, but just, where are you on the planet? Anything you want to say, so that we are in the circle. So I'll begin. Sharon Roger Maynard. I'm on Whidbey Island, state of Washington, and the sun is just poking out. It's been a little overcast, which is wonderful. I love overcast and cool and the sun. And I'm in that circle, staff in the ground. I'm here. And I'll pass to Gail, and we'll just tag around. Okay, Gail?
Okay, so I am Gail Kaplan and I am in Magnolia, New Jersey, and I am very excited to be here. And that's about it. So I will pass to Janelle.
Thank you. I am Janelle, and I am on the Big Island of Hawaii. And I am coming, I'm so excited. The full moon was just here, and I am ready to embrace the next step of moving these mountains. So I claim my presence here. Aho.
Oh, so here we are. It was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I was working with my daughter who was in pathological relationship with the father of her son, my grandson, who at the time was just finishing 3rd grade. And so we were in a B&B and then a motel as she was deciding what next to do for her part of this relationship. And Leaf came home from school one day and she would sit with him, always sit with him. And he didn't use the word, he had a word for when things didn't fit, weren't quite right at school. I don't remember the word. I'll have to ask her about that. And she said, oh, really, what is that coming from? And he said, well, the teacher today asked the class of 3rd graders what tribe they were from. Now, I don't know if she was talking indigenous because I was kind of newbie on the block. And he very clearly said, I'm a Viking. And the little girl next to him, loud enough for him to hear, but not teacher, said, you are not. So it got us into the discussion of Viking. What is a Viking? And what were the qualities and what interested him about Vikings? Because, I'm new on the block. We got the Google out, we got the YouTube out, and we started making a list of the qualities of a Viking. They work together, they solve problems, they do adventures, they explore other areas of the world. So he came up with this. They treat their women well. I don't know, maybe they do or not. We claim they do. They treat their,
Okay.
And so we came up with a list of values, just like Sacred Ground Collective. And then when we got the list, we were able to say to each of us, I said, is that how you feel? And he said, yes. I said, then you're a Viking. Of course you're a Viking. I said, I feel that way too. I'm a Viking. And Mom says, yeah, me too. We're a Viking. Our tribe is a Viking tribe. That's who we are. It was close to Christmas time, and it was important for me to have an identity for him about what his mother's home and her present was, because he's all back and forth between dad. He's Gemini. I said, you're going to have lots of different experiences. One isn't better than another. They're different. And the experiences you will at some point in your life pull them different ones together and have something totally new because you've had more experiences than some. That's just going to be what you do as a Gemini. So it was Christmas time, and his mom she loves to sing, she loves music. So we decided to find only Christian churches out in that little town in Washington. So we decided to go to one because they do good music. And wanted to go, we went, and we're sitting, and most of them are older people, not very many people because it's a small town, holiday. The minister's not there because he's on vacation with his family, so a lot of just like different than it maybe would be. And he's 9 and he doesn't know these people. There's no other 9-year-olds. There's no Sunday school. They're just, but he was quiet, and I knew he wasn't super excited. On the wall there was the credos on the wall in front, right? So after it was all over with, I said to him, you're a Viking, right? He said, I am. And I said, we have certain values that we claim and we live with, right? Right. I said, and one of those is we travel around, and that makes it so we see other tribes. I said, we just had an experience with another tribe, and look, they've listed their values right up on the front wall. And we went up and I didn't read them all to him because I said, I'm so proud of you because you were a Viking during that time. You were respectful. I know you were bored, probably bored, but I said you didn't fuss, you didn't make a disruption. You sat quietly, and I said you got to experience another tribe, you know? So we're here today, and not so much with the three of us, because we've kind of touched into some of the information I'm going to be sharing, but we're going to go over the information from moving the mountains, and because the information is foundation. It's foundation. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, what drew you to being here today? And I'm just going to let you popcorn. So you can take a moment, whoever has something to say. And anytime we do sharing, and it stays here, and it's not going to, you don't have to share if you're like, I'm going to pass. Totally good. But that's the first question. What drew you here today?
I'll go.
Okay, please.
Thank you. It's time in my life for me to, I'm starting a new beginnings. And it's time for me. I kind of took a step back from life for a while, to do some healing and some growing. And it's time for me to blossom. And I am excited to have support in taking charge of my life. That's what I see this opportunity as. Instead of having life tell me what it's doing, I'm here to tell life what it's doing.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that. And welcome.
Thank you.
So I have been a longtime sister student of Sharon's, and I'm in Hawaii, and there's a big time difference. And I actually just traveled for 9 months and earned my master's degree. And so I just got my master's in international development and service. And in the course of my defense and everything that I had to do, I really realized that part of my purpose has always been personal empowerment and women's empowerment. And then I had this other part of my life, which was definitely of service and humanitarian. And I finally realized how I could blend the two. And so I'm really, really excited. And then I saw this coming up, and because it was like a 3-day, I was excited about, okay, let's dive in. I'm ready to dive in. I'm ready to hear what's new and how I can participate and charge ahead. So that's why I'm here. That's what called me.
Oh, great. And have you seen, either of you seen the movie, The Fantastic Fungi?
No.
Oh,
Fantastic Fungi. I saw it on Netflix.
okay.
And it talks about the fungi kingdom and how the fungi kingdom has its own, what they call it, mycelium. Their underground roots network, just like the trees. The trees they're connected too, but the fungi mycelium is kind of like the lifeblood force that when life dies on the planet, the fungi kingdom brings it back to life. It has
Oh, that's cool.
unending life mycelium. And what I realized in my work with women, that we were intended, souls coming into female body seats, we were intended to bring that energy right down in the center of our power centers, right down, and first anchor at first our feet on Gaia, say, I'm here to partner with you, Gaia, this field of intelligence of Earth. We were the ones to safeguard her. That's how it was intended. My feet is on you, Gaia. Then my roots energy goes into Gaia, into the ground, to network with all the other roots of sisters. So our first community, base Gaia, and the roots with other women. Our love, our ideas, our songs, our dances, all were to be done first within the root system of Gaia. Now, I don't know about you, but I know through, and I call my experience with the patriarchy, the gentle patriarchy, because it wasn't harsh, but it left me disconnected from women. I was not, I mean, yes, we had we did sleepovers, but that's not who I was valuing. I was valuing men. So rooting into the system to connect with women, I had to learn that. And then I realized when I got the information from the Marsar families, that was where we were intended to be first, is in the root system. I went, of course, of course. And then I saw fantastic fungi. And I went, oh my gosh. The other thing that has been destroyed is the mycelium of wisdom from female experiences. The wisdom, the networking, the supporting, this isn't the root system. It's more of a life-giving system. I'd suggest when you have time, watch fantastic fungi and see them as mycelium. And so what we began to do in the Sacred Ground Collective in February is I began to have regular, like monthly calls to consciously create the mycelium of women's wisdoms, visions, blessings, resource. And it's not networking. It's different than that. It's seeding it. And what we do is any woman can show up at one of the calls and she has 3 minutes to say, this is who I am. This is where I'm on the planet. And my vision, or this is the wisdom from my experience, or what I'm planting for my grandchildren. She has 3 minutes to speak it into the field, to simply add it to the mycelium. And the mycelium, then we are protecting that in a way we have not been able to protect women for eons. So right now, I want you to take a moment and I'm going to ask you the question, and you are going to speak. What is the vision that you would hold? We'll say future, even though we'd like the future to be tomorrow, right? What is the vision for the future? What is the piece of wisdom that you would want to put into that communication field for all women everywhere? What is a blessing that you would like to speak? An awareness, anything like that. And those are just trigger prompts. And you'll each have up to 3 minutes to speak when you're ready. And because I have these handy dandy little 30 seconds, you can speak clear until 30 seconds. That's about time to wind up. So the first we're going to do is you are going to plant into the mycelium. So, and when you're ready.
Is there any particular declaration or anything we state? No. Okay.
This is
I'll go.
your wisdom.
Okay. Trust and act on your intuition. It is always right. It is quiet. Pay attention and heed this knowledge. Yep.
Beautiful.
Okay, I guess that leaves my turn. What I would like to plant is self-respect. It's important for us to respect ourselves first and to really expect and demand respect from others. And I've been noticing that it can take a lot of work to indulge in self-respect. There are times when from the old messages and the domination that I give myself a hard time, and I've learned that that doesn't work. So when I respect me, others just naturally respect me. And that's what I would leave for the children. Respect yourself and expect respect from others.
What I want to plant is the vision I have. And it's really a vision that comes as women, like, and I mean, women who understand their role on the planet, who stepped into that voice of authority, who are working from that whole different platform and understanding that the Armageddon that everybody's talking about, the hard times, bad times, down on the hill, is not happening because we call it end to it. Absolutely will not happen. Whatever needs to happen for that shift around does. And for me, I say our brothers and sisters of star family lineage who are still in unseen worlds, and most of them are there, use their vehicles to bring the plans for the great next civilization here now, not after we go down and destroy. No. Destruction ends, new growth happens. And that's what I want to plant into the mycelium. So thank you.
What it be?
So in whatever you do in your work, you set space, you do healings, you do quiet, all that stuff. No, plant it into the mycelium. Keep energizing that mycelium too, because now you've got this additional that you can not only draw from, but also you can plant into. We've got the roots, we got the mycelium. It will cause entirely new things to emerge. So let's get into for you guys, it will be more of a review, but that's good too. So, souls born into female bodysuits did so for the opportunity, the assignment given to that soul in the bodysuit. And originally, and this is like 600,000 years ago, so we're going back a long time. Originally, when we star beings came onto the planet, and now we have earth suits to walk around in, we came not just one male, one female. There were villages, and that's what I've been shown when I've asked questions. There were villages on this planet, and it was the soul in the female bodysuit that had the assignment to work with Gaia in the very densest frequencies. I'm here, Gaia, let's work together. Root down so that even though villages weren't next to each other, maybe there was a communication that went on between villages, between women. That first internet, that's where it was. And so we talked a lot, as women do, because we networked, we shared ideas, because our next step was then to come up to the base chakra to look out over, are we on the right place on this planet? Do we want to move around a little bit? Do we want, where do we want to go? Find the place, and then we're going to design the space. We're going to design, where's going to be the garden? What kind of garden is going to be? What does that mean? What does the body need? How, there's a lot of unknowns. This was a new experience. So we networked, we talk, ideas shared, we design space. In this day and age, it's like You could design your bedroom, design your home. Even if all you have is you have a car, design your car. We have to take some kind of space and design it. And then once we design it, then we make that blueprint of what everything's going to look like. And we hold that blueprint, those words, those desires, in this vehicle that's designed to create a story, hold the story, and then the story manifests. Law of manifestation, law of personal choice. There's no more powerful place to be, to make change, than in a female body on the planet. Personal choice. It's not about you getting agreement from anyone. It's not about 100th monkey. Personal choice, speaking what needs and wants to be happening, creating the story around it. Some people call it affirmations. In our work, we call it reality statements and reality shifts. And we hold that, we energize it until the law of manifestation takes over and it causes it to form. So some people look at the forms in our life and say the forms aren't real. Don't believe the forms. And that's true, because they are the end result of the stories or our consciousness or what we hold, right? They're real because we bump into those forms, but they're only the end result. So our job then was, after this birthing of the stories, and we wanted the good. We wanted, and we are star beings. Our nature is what is a benefit. Our agendas were like, what does peace look like? What does intuition look like? What is, emotional balance like on this planet? All of those agendas were agendas that would benefit. And we were charged with anchoring them, designing them, holding the stories, and letting those forms of those good ideas show up until we had a lush garden, lush gardens from the stories. So then it was a matter of safeguarding them so they didn't get destroyed. And that was the woman's job. That was the soul in female's job. So you may have come into a female body because you wanted to have the authority to get the changes made that has been taking our world down the tubes. You didn't originally come into a female body, to birth children. That was not at all where we were in the beginning. We were smart enough to know that with the contamination around us, we had to first of all sort this whole thing out. Authority to safeguard, so that the forms of destruction eventually were gone totally, and only the stories and forms of benefit remained. So I want you to just take a moment, think out over the world today. How are we doing? What are the forms out there in the world that are troublesome to you? And make a list, maybe 3 or 4. And we're just going to do a couple of minutes of just, what are the forms in the world that are troubling to you?
I don't think I understand exactly what the question is.
Good. That's good clarification. If I look out in the world today and I look at the fact that my grandson is now going into 5th grade and he has to learn how to act in case an active shooter comes into his school. Because now we have guns in school that are more important. At the same time, we're saying they can't read a book. That kind of situation. That's not okay. It's not showing that our culture is a culture of peace, respect, generosity. What is it? What's showing up out there in the world that is more like violence and corruption and greed and etc.? And some of these things might be in your personal life too. Good. Okay, we've got another like 10 seconds and we're going to share what we found.
I'm going to quickly grab a water.
Good. I was just pouring myself some water too. Do you need water, Gail?
I have water handy.
Good for you. Yeah. Okay, I'll go first, just so I'll get the ball rolling, and then either one of you can go next. So for me, like I said, guns in school is not okay. Violence in countries that destroy countries and make refugees all over the world who now have no home is not okay. Discrimination against women's bodies is not okay. My daughter, one of my daughters has a form of cancer now that's now called a chronic disease. They're telling her she cannot be off chemo ever again because the cancer will come back with ferocity and kill her. It's now chronic. Not ending it. We're not stopping it. We're just controlling it, just like everything else. So those would be mine. I mean, that's not a reflection of divine good. Okay, that's me.
Okay, I'll go. War and people hurting each other, the overuse of guns in the schools and amongst the countries, Russia and the Ukraine, people just destroying whatever they can, wherever they can. It's not okay. And also, the spread of hatred. Trump is one of the leaders of this, and the January 6th mindset is unacceptable. We can't be having people running around hurting each other. And then also prejudice in the LGBTQ plus community. It's still very rampant, and people are killed in the name of I don't know what. I don't know, but people lose their lives because of their gender identity,
Yeah.
and it's just not right.
Thanks, Gail. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, yes, yes. Continuing with unacceptable on this planet is the enslavement of children and sex trafficking that has been rampant. Must end. It's absolutely unacceptable. The greed that is destroying our planet and seems to just be taking a whole nother level. Now we have a whole new level of billionaires that we've never had before. No, unacceptable. Female erasure and this movement of ending and de-identifying the power of female and what being female means. No, unacceptable. And the perpetuation of isolation within society that is creating this mental disease that is rampant now because of isolation and a lack of community. Those are mine. Unacceptable.
Absolutely not acceptable. So this takes me back to where I began. So in 1971, this was not what the world was like. It was like I was totally in patriarchy, get married, have kids, until I began to, out of curiosity as much as anything, say, where can I, I am just going to try asking a question like the men can do. The men were able to do that. They could ask a question. God would speak to them. Didn't happen. My husband wouldn't work for my husband. But so that's where I began, 1971. Heard that sharing, my husband was going to try it because it was only for men. And I said, well, that sounds really kind of curious and interesting, and went off the next day into my own little room, nap time, school time, husband at work. And I don't remember the question. It was something to do with being a mother, because that was acceptable, and connected, did my prayers, laid out my heart, whatever that was, pain at the time, and asked my one question. And then I, notebook and pen in hand, I just sat there like I was listening to a phone, and thoughts came rolling in. I'm writing them down, writing them down, writing them down, writing them down. And I'm going like, who is this coming from? And the answer that I got, which was totally in alignment to my belief structure. We get answers in relationship to our belief structure. This is Christ. Okay, I know Christ, absolutely. So I could read back through that 3 or 4 pages, asking the question, my understanding that Christ is a loving being. He's a teacher. Anything that he would propose would be from love, for love, and love. Do these words hold that vibration? That was my vetting. And it did. So from that point on, 1971, I began asking questions weekly, if not daily. It was my lifeblood, because I was in a very abusive relationship, emotionally abusive relationship. That's not what it was called at the time. It was called marriage. For bad lives. Really, there was no such thing as domestic violence back then. So that went on until my life progressed. In 83, 84, I was directed to move to Boise, Idaho. And I said, why? They said, because you've learned all you can learn where you're at. Because I was doing library searches mainly, no Google back then, all undercover, because I wasn't learning from my religion. But I was learning, now you need to go somewhere else, and we're going to take you to Boise, Idaho. Packed up 9 kids, and away we went to Boise, Idaho. And I learned about affirmations. That I learned that God didn't just give me this role as a single mom, struggle, obey, do well, and I'll love you in the afterlife. Good job, Sister Maynard. But that I had a role to play in how my life worked. That I could say, well, wait a minute, money's tight. Redo money. Car's broken, redo car. Kids are unhappy, redo kids. So, I started using affirmations was my first indication that I had a voice as a woman in what my life would look like. Because I had been told that as a woman, I just took it on the chin, served well, didn't complain, and get on with the job. So 89, I'm now in another place, and now I'm going to have a teaching center. And I have learned crystal chakra balancing. I love stones, crystals, gemstones. So how do you understand the power centers we call chakras? When they're out of balance, out of whack, needing some help, here's a system, crystal chakra balancing. So I was doing that with affirmation in my community with my friends. And at this point, my friends, they had things to do. They had dreams to accomplish. They had projects they wanted to do. They wanted to change their life. And they knew about love is all there is. They knew about, we're in an evolutionary shift in 89, and they knew about affirmations. And now we bring crystal chakra balancing into it. And it adds a dimension. They're free, and then they hit a wall, and then they're free and they hit a wall. And it was at that point that my life majorly changed, because I said to my spiritual team, which were many at the time by then, I don't want to just keep balancing chakras. It's a waste of time, because, a month down the road, something happens and they get, I'll say, triggered. And what do? Then they come back for a chakra balancing. Not good enough for me. Affirmations, did a good job, but it wasn't complete. There was something missing. So I said to my team, my spiritual team, I want to know the cause of humanity's pain and know how to eliminate the cause so the pain goes away. That's why we're here today. That is why you came. You want to eliminate the pain, your life, your family life, the world life, doesn't matter where you see it, pain. Where can you go to the cause to eliminate the pain? Why? So we can get back to our agenda of building an amazing world together, right? That's why we're here. So that's what I said to them. I said, where do I go? I could have gone, we had no internet, we couldn't do Zoom, but I could travel and I could write letters. And they said to me, there is no place we can send you because it is not being done that way on the planet. And it was true. If that's what you want to do, we will have to teach you, because the truths, the laws, the information has been hidden. It's taken away and it's hidden, and you only have enough pieces of truth to keep humanity juicy, not suicidal, just enough to keep them juicy. And there's a reason we are kept juicy. We'll talk about that in a minute. So my credentials, not new to you guys. I call myself a radical mystic Shaw woman. And I do that because Howard Zen, if you remember Howard Zen, amazing man. And he I think used the word radical in that you're not going to stop questioning till you get to the answer. You're not going to take this piece of information and say, oh, okay. No, you're going to keep with it. We are radical searchers. We are committed. We are radical searchers. And I couldn't get the answer by going to a Zoom call or reading a book or a lecture. They were very clear about that. We will have to teach you. And so mystic, listening to that inner guidance, and it had to be from those who held, and that was star beings from our stars. And welcome Arlie. Arlie's in New Zealand. Hi, Arlie.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Did you know we started an hour ago?
No.
Yeah.
Was it a change in the United States?
I don't know for sure, but I'm glad you're here.
Uh-oh. I counted 4 hours instead of 5-hour time difference. I am so sorry, ladies. I am really sorry.
Glad you're here. I'll tell you where we're at. We've put our seed, our vision into mycelium. We've reaffirmed the values of sacred ground, and the Women's Grassroots Congress brought that forward. We've said what's out there in the world. There was our women were to safeguard and get rid of anything that would cause harm, and we're not doing so well because there's stuff out there causing harm. We're clear about that, right? So what I want to just take time for you, Arlie, to say, and you can have a minute or two, and if you want, however long you want to take, where you're at, your name, where you're at, and what is the vision, the wisdom, the input that you would like to put to additionally into the mycelium.
Okay, I'm Arlie. I'm in New Zealand. I'm an hour late. There's a time change. What I want to put into the mycelium is heart-driven wisdom, is a burning desire to work for all good, is the knowledge, the ability to discern what is ours, what is not ours. I think that covers it. Thank you.
Thank you. We love it. So what we're going to be, some of us reviewing, most of us reviewing in this group, covering in the next 3 days. And I said to Arlie, there's information I want to cover each day. When we're finished with the information, it will be complete. And we won't go over 2 hours, okay? So if we're finished before 2 hours, we'll be finished. And then we'll come back the next day, okay? So back then, the people that found me, I don't even know how they found me, because again, no Google, were the people who were pushing for their evolution. They wanted to evolve. I think that was the ascension movement. Oh, that's what it was called, the ascension movement. I got to remember that word. It was the ascension movement, and they were pushing the envelope to change their life, right? With all the tools they had. And they kept hitting walls because they had no way to clear the shit out of the way fast enough, deep enough for them to move into ascension, whatever that was for them. So they found me, and I was kept busy as I wanted to be, even busier than I really wanted to be, with one recommendation after another, to clear the walls that they were hitting, because they didn't have that knowledge. And I did. And why I did is because I said, what is the cause? How do I get to it? And how do I remove the cause? Not my pain, the pain of humanity. That includes my pain. because this information can be applied to you, to your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, to your family, to your community, to your career, to your country, and to the world. And that's what it's time to do, is create a stronger movement of women. Why? Because it's our job, always has been, to learn how to get to cause, how to remove it, to remind ourselves to work together on that. There's a lot of new information that's available so that we can get this world, take it back and change it. So I had a literary agent call me, and it's not unusual when you have books that they find you. And so he's saying, you know, your Remembering Earth Mission's been recommended to us, and we've reviewed it. We like it. We think we have these kind of funders that are interested in that genre, and we think it's movie material. It would make a great movie. And are you interested? I said, I'm willing to talk about that for sure. But I said, I want you to know I'm writing a book now. And that's the book that I would be interested in seeing on the screen. And it's about waking women up to move mountains and the whole picture of why. And this is in this initiative, I'm sharing enough of it. You guys will get it. We're going to start working on it. And you can work at this level, or this level, or this level, or this level, wherever you want to play, once you have the information. So he said to me, oh, it seems to me it's kind of like in that, I don't know, he used something and something, and he said some like The Secret. Do you know The Secret? I said, I know The Secret. And it's kindergarten. It's good. It's a place to start. So we are going to absolutely honor kindergarten, because it has kept us here. When I went over Memorial Day to the elders, that was a gathering of Indigenous elders from around the world. They're doing this all the time, by the way. Weekend, there's another one here in Utah. Now we're in Montana. I mean, these elders, they're going all over the place. They're talking their stories. And I sat and I listened to their stories. I read their prophecies, and I went, they have been holding a really honor in their traditions. And I mean, they were from South America, they were from the Mayan culture, they were from Greenland, they were from all over Turtle Island, they were from the Hawaiian Islands. I mean, they were from all over. They are holding the stories to keep survival mentality alive. They are like The Secret. They are keeping alive enough of the stories, enough of the truths, enough of the connections, that they've kept the star family's nature alive. But it has been through survival stories, because we couldn't get too big or we would be slaughtered. Does that make sense? I see you go like, oh God. And Janelle, do you have something you want to say?
I need clarity, because when you were first saying it, I thought that you were saying that they're perpetuating these survival stories as though it was almost parasitic to keep people down.
No.
Okay.
No, they're keeping the stories alive for survival purposes. Enough of the hope
To maintain us. Okay.
keep moving, to not give up, to keep moving, to not give up. They've kept us survivals, just like.
Okay.
So I listened to the stories and I went, I know I've heard that. That's what they've told me, and they've told me that. And I've heard I've heard those from the Hermetic tradition speak, and it's the same that I got, through my teachers, but my teachers told me more, because they started showing the things that had been hidden. But all of these traditions, and like I say, great honor for all traditions, even throughout what had been religion, and that's really been contaminated and co-opted, I believe. But the threads of what we need to keep hopeful is there, but it doesn't give the cause and how to remove the cause. And that's what's different about Move the Mountains. Wake women up to move the mountains. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break because we've, and then come back. And then we're going to get into beginning to talk about the story and where we fit. Okay. So that will be like 11 after the hour. Okay. So see you back then.